Alright. Well, hello.
Hello there.
Welcome, Fat Horse.
Welcome back.
Yes, it's true.
We've been gone.
We have
We've gone
too
through
long.
Too long. We've been through many adventures. None worth mentioning.
Yeah.
But we had to come back because there's a bit of a crisis going on right now.
It's an all-out war.
It is a war. It has been cold for a long time, a cold war. But now it has heated up
It has.
to the point where we cannot stay silent anymore. What is this war, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. It's the war on fat.
Oh shit.
What?
It's real.
Yeah. I think, anybody will tell you that there's always been an undertone of, I'll say it, an undertone of violence that you see in people's eyes, no matter what kind of, just being different.
Yeah. There's a big prejudice against anyone who's different, which is sad because that's what makes us great, I think.
Yeah, everybody's
It's my State of
different.
the Union address.
Yeah, thanks
You're welcome.
for your consideration. But yeah, and in the media, you know, we've had this whole hate crime thing and the Matthew Shepard thing that happened, that very big news cycle. And funnily enough, all of a sudden it was a bad thing to commit hate crimes. It was a bad thing to feel to be discriminatory against people just because they were different.
Mm-hmm.
Now the tide has turned. Now that the overweight and the obese are being targeted, suddenly it's totally acceptable to use a language of violence when targeting this group. And we're talking most specifically about HBO's new documentary series that's coming out. It premieres May 14th and 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's called The Weight of the Nation. They're coinciding it with the CDC just had a Weight of the Nation conference in Washington, D.C., and they came out with some new statistics, some studies. The tagline I find the most disturbing. The tagline is, "To win, we have to lose."
Yeah, that is terrifying.
And I think that's the closest anybody's ever really come to just flat out saying, this is a war, you are the target, and you are going to be eliminated. Mm-hmm. And I know, that's kind of like...
Well, it's very dramatic.
Yeah, it's super dramatic, but why would they use that rhetoric?
Well, and it's a scare tactic, and a lot of people are jumping on board with it. And I think what they need to start showing more is, yes, there are health problems when it comes to obesity. Yes, there are a lot of different cultures are targeted more than others,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a big mess right now. But they're not focusing on self-esteem for those people. They're not focusing on what they have to go through every day and how it's wrong to treat these people differently than anyone else in front of you.
Yeah, it's a huge issue, and they're going to start the documentary, and I think by the time this is posted, it will have already aired. The first part it's about case studies, so they will be following people in their day-to-day lives. But considering the future episodes are going to be about health risks, the cost of it, they're going to do a whole section on children and obesity. This is not supposed to be sympathetic.
No.
This is not going to be flattering. It's not going to be kind at all. So get ready for that. And what I find really funny is at the Weight of the Nation conference, they came out with these numbers, and they said that 42% of Americans, adults, they didn't study children in this, are going to be obese, which is 30 pounds or more overweight. 42% by 2030. So in 18 years.
Yes.
And that is, oh my God, horrifying. In 2010, the number was 36%. It's going to be an increase of 8% in 18 years.
And when you look at what people are doing less of, which is walking, riding bikes, everyone uses their car to commute or public transportation. You also have what we have as options to eat. And because we're such a fast-paced nation at this point. So it all coincides with each other. And
Yeah, it's about our lifestyle. To be perfectly honest, and they've been doing so many lifestyle studies too that I've been reading, and we've been posting them on the Favre's fan page, which you can find. We'll put the links down below. It's on Facebook, so you can like us, and we put little twists and spins on the news. But we find these articles, we research them, and you can too. You can follow along with us, comment, share with your friends. But they've been doing a ton of lifestyle studies, like how much people commute. Guess what? The more you commute, the more likely you are to be obese. Sleeping. Turns out the more you sleep, the more likely you are to be at a healthy weight. And then people who swing the clock, people who work nights like us, tend to be heavier too. So I just find it so funny that our sort of life, our American life, is sort of pushing us towards being bigger, and yet America at large is sort of rebelling and punishing people
who are larger
for just surviving. And there's been a ton of new things. And one thing that we really wanted to talk about is something that's going on this summer. The FDA is going to vote on 2 new weight loss drugs.
Yes, this is terrifying,
Yeah.
by the way.
If they go through this summer, they will be the first new weight loss drugs to be approved in 13 years. And I'm going to give you the names. I wrote them down, and they are very hard to pronounce. Lorcaserin is the first one, and Cunexa is the other one. They were not approved. They go through a panel process, and then the FDA actually votes. In 2010, they went through the panel process. They were both denied. They reapplied. Now they've both been approved. Here's the thing. The drugs have not changed. They're exactly the same as they were before. The only thing they have different is they have 2 more years of research. And they have this crisis, which is now all of a sudden a huge issue. And it's well documented that several of the panelists are only approving because it's something. These drugs, lorcaserin is proven to cause tumors in rats and heart valve defects. And if anybody remembers the whole fen-phen scandal from years ago, that's why fen-phen is illegal, is because it causes heart valve damage. And now we've got another drug that does the same thing too. It's going to be totally fine. Go pick up a bottle. No problem, because something's better than nothing.
Now, and here's the crazy part about this drug. I have it here. Because it's not worth it, is what it comes down to. It says that you can lose up to 5% of the body weight in a year of taking one of these medications. In a year of taking one of these medications, you could need a heart valve transplant. If you want to lose that 5%, if you're one of those people who are mobile and capable of doing so, then do it naturally. I think that these pills they're terrifying to me, because you're going to have this problem with obesity, and you're just tacking on extra problems, and there's no reason for it. So
yeah, I'm very scared about what's going to happen, and I'm really scared about parents who are going to give these drugs to their children. Parents are passing on their children. They're passing on bad behaviors. And so let's compound it. Let's give them drugs. Because why not? Because
sounds like the answer, really.
Yeah, because it's not like we have a problem with over-medicating in this country. Of course not.
Absolutely not. No. Well, and I think if parents are honestly terrified of their children being obese, and it's a scary thought. You don't want your kid to be picked on.
No.
You don't want these things to happen to them. You want them to be healthy and succeed. But here's the thing. Then you take the initiative as the parent to change the cycle in your household. And to tell your kid that they're wrong for being overweight, or to have society tell them that, it's not helping anything. It's not going to make them motivated to do something. It's going to shut them down. And that's why you have so many children who are just depressed because they're a little bit bigger, or, they are obese. So I don't understand what that is accomplishing.
Putting adult expectations on children
child.
is the worst thing you can do
Absolutely.
to their psyche. And this whole culture thing, I mean, you can do it positively and you can do it negatively. What I find really interesting is the New York Times on May 5th actually ran an editorial by Alice Randall. Alice Randall is an African-American author. She's most famous for this novel called When Done Gone. But she did a really, really provocative article that kind of slapped me in the face when I read it. It was called Black Women and Fat. You can still find it on the New York Times website. And basically her thesis for the article, which is true, I'm not going to lie, is that black women in this country, and, you know, I would assume pretty much everywhere, but we're focusing on the United States, are indoctrinated to be bigger. Their culture approves of it, their men like it, their mothers, all their family pressures them to continue to be big. And Ms. Randall talks about how when she was growing up, she didn't want to be skinny because then no guys would want to go out with her. And she talks about, you know, her and her friends who are now kind of approaching middle age. 1 in 4 middle-aged black women in this country have diabetes. 25%. So that's not funny. And they're starting to get health conscious, and their husbands are telling them, please don't lose weight. And so Alice Randall pretty much takes the position that this cannot stand. It's over. Being thin is not something that white people should aspire to. We should all aspire to it, or at least to be healthy.
Her general outlook on her community is that they are defined to be big. They are just pushed to be bigger.
Exactly. And she feels a tremendous pressure, and she feels pressure on her daughter. And she sort of buttons up the article by saying that she wants to be the last, like, large black woman in her family. And to me, that is almost a threat. You know, especially when she has a daughter of her own. You know, what does that say? I mean, I'm not trying to, you know, pry into anybody's family, but if we take this one example as a wider phenomenon that's going on right now, you know, if we are so concerned about, you know, our nation's children and our body image, you know, what are we saying when we are trying to root out and eliminate this problem? And this problem is it's not terrorism, you know, it's not pollution, it's people. We're trying to root out and eliminate people.
And a large majority of them. So.
Yeah. So basically what we're saying is health is good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Be as healthy as you possibly can be. You know, I mean, make sure that you get outside and do things, and, you know, don't eat crap all the time. Like, and I think that's a big...
Yeah, it's such a misnomer that that's all we do. We just constantly eat, like... No, we eat a variety of things. We just happen to eat more than you do.
Fruit? What?
What is that? Like,
yeah.
No, we do all those things. We just also eat candy. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, I'm going out.
Yeah, seriously, just shoot me in the face for that one. Like, what are we actually demonizing here? And I think, and I'd like, let's leave it on that. When you make it with the rhetoric of violence and with the rhetoric of war, okay, so you have your side of good and your side of evil, okay? So what exactly are we looking at and saying, this is evil and should be destroyed? So just think about that. Leave comments below. Like our page. Join the discussion. We'll have more vlogs up. We'll be talking about some new things. Our next one, we're going to go back to comedy for the next one.
This will probably be the most serious.
This is as dark as we can get. The next thing we're going to talk about is, are fat jokes funny?
Oh, so good.
So stay tuned for that. Please subscribe. The subscribe button is above Rachel's head.
Is it really?
Yeah, like it always is. So yeah, please click on that, and thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Watch the documentary. It's HBO's The Weight of the Nation. It premieres the 14th and the 15th of May, so it will be available to you on their website by the time this airs. So we love you very much.
Yes.
You have a great day.